And it looks like we are now live. So, it has been quite a while since we've actually been here in Genshin proper. But yeah, today we're going to be having a Genshin stream, a proper one at that. And there's quite a lot of things to do, and there's quite a lot of things to talk about. I'm pretty excited for today. So, let's just get right into it, shall we? Now, let me go ahead and have my controller. Oh, there we go. So, as a couple of you might know, Inazuma has been released, and we've pretty much all been busy doing different things. As you can see, I myself managed to actually get Ayaka, and I've been enjoying her quite a bit as of late. She has actually been the character that I've been trying to level up the most since Inazuma started, which has been a pretty massive blessing. In all honesty, the entire region of Inazuma has been incredibly fun so far. I have managed to pretty much explore every nook and cranny, as you can see if I go into my map. Anybody who has Ayaka probably knows these locations by heart at this point, but I've pretty much gone ahead and I've explored through the entirety of the map. If you can see, I have 100% in every single one of the islands. It has been really fun just going around, collecting chests, going back into the Electroculus, and all of that. Definitely something that I've been enjoying and I've been hoping to see again, and Inazuma definitely delivered. A lot of the side quests have been really fun so far. There's still quite a lot that I haven't finished, and a lot of the puzzles have been quite entertaining. I've been really enjoying Inazuma. So far though, there's a couple things that I want to do as just kind of a bit of a explanation of some of the plans that I've been trying to get towards. Well, I managed to get Ayaka. And we pretty much all know that Ball is going to be coming out relatively soon. There might or might not have been some, we'll just call them rumors, that Ball might be coming around September. So, with that in mind, I want to try to save as much as possible to try to get Ball. And because of that, I want to do as many events as possible that will give me benefits. So I've been doing a lot of the Thunder Sojourn event. And now, today, the last part has been made available. And there's something that I definitely want to be doing, and I want to be trying to pretty much get all of the Thunder Sojourn things in today's stream. As you can see, I've pretty much collected every single one of the ones here. We are just missing the Thunder Crystals, which are going to be really helpful, because you can get up to 1,000,000 Mora from this. This is, 1,000,000 Mora that I desperately need. I have been very thorough with my entire scouring of Inazuma, and even though I'm pretty sure that I've collected almost every single chest that there is currently in Inazuma, I am completely out of Mora. This is something that has been a case for a very long time. As a free-to-play player, Mora is very difficult to come by, and you spend a lot of it in doing different things. However, I believe that it has been worth it. This is currently the Kamisato Ayaka that I'm working with, an entirely free-to-play setup, but I think it's been pretty strong in all honesty. I got really lucky with a lot of my rolls. I managed to get her crit damage up to 200% and 30 crit rate naturally with a full Blizzard Strayer set. This means that in a lot of teams where I have her with double cryo, she essentially goes up all the way up to 85% crit rate, which is pretty damn good. It's probably the highest that I've been able to get any of my characters. This is the first time that I've managed to get a character upwards up to this point with this much percentage damage. These are the pieces that I managed to get. Not all of them are pretty good, but a majority of them ended up being really good. Like this one that has 20% crit damage. This flower right here that has 5% crit and 13% crit damage. And this one right here that ended up getting 9% crit rate on a crit damage piece. This one ended up being incredibly helpful because it also rolled into energy recharge, which has been something that has been helping me so far. The other thing that I rolled is this one right here, also energy recharge, cryo damage, a little bit of crit rate. It rolled a bit into attack and it rolled a bit into HP. Not the greatest, not the worst either. It is serviceable for what it is. The only thing that I would probably replace would probably be this one, but so far the energy recharge has actually been quite helpful. something to work towards in the future. This is my Kamisato Ayaka. This is definitely my pride and joy as of right now. She is, without a doubt, one of the strongest characters that I have available. And we're probably going to be testing her out today, because if I remember correctly, this event is going to be centered on boss fights. So we're probably going to be doing at least one with this Ayaka. I do have the Blackcliff Longsword with her. I saved up a lot of resources in order to be able to buy this one. I'm probably going to be keeping it at rank 1, and honestly, it is a really good weapon, but I do feel like the Amenoma Kageuchi might end up being slightly better. I'll have to do the math on this one. I'm pretty sure that for my Ayaka, the Blackcliff might be slightly better just because of the way that my stat distribution is set up. I'll have to do the proper math on it, but either of these two weapons are incredibly powerful for Ayaka if you manage to pull for her. Ayaka is honestly just a surprisingly powerful character that is a lot more valuable than I originally gave her credit for. A lot of it does come down to her element, and a lot of it does come down to the fact that her burst ended up being absolutely insane. Sumetsu was always going to be the biggest question mark when it came to Ayaka, and it ended up being really, really good. The scaling did not get hit at all. It ended up being incredibly high, especially because of the way that it works, where it stops on enemy hits, and then just doesn't keep on going like the Travelers. Like the Traveler's Tornado. This is how you make a Traveling Burst, not like the Travelers. Sumetsu is what you're looking at, not that Tornado thing. But yeah, that's kind of just like a bit of a recap of the things that I've been working on so far. In addition to that, we have gotten quite a lot of characters leveled up. I think the character that has gained the most use as of late has been my Xingqiu. My Xingqiu has honestly increased in power quite significantly since last time that we saw him. The last time that we saw him, he was just an energy recharge bot, and that was all that he was here for. Now, he is actually a very integral part to doing damage. He's still rocking the Faboni sword, as well as the artifact sets that I'm currently running on him. I wish I could change it to something else, but at the same time, I have 2-piece gladiators and 2-piece noblesse that have incredibly powerful stats. It is very hard to say no to this one. These are just the stats that we're looking at. This Royal Plume is insane. 28% crit damage, 4% crit rate. This is just ridiculous. I have this one right here, which is also insane. Another 28% crit, and another 4% crit rate. These two are probably my highest rolled artifacts that I have so far, and they're not the only ones that have been insane. The Hydro damage bonus, again, more crit damage, more energy recharge, exactly what this Xingqiu needs. And the last part, which is the newest edition, more crit damage, more energy recharge, a little bit of HP. This is probably the best that I'm going to get this Xingqiu up to. I know that the artifact bonus is not precisely the best in slot. That would probably be the Emblem of Star Fates. I don't care. This is enough to the point where I don't want to farm another Emblem of Severed Fates. I'm trying to farm another Emblem of Severed Fates for this one right here, for my Mona. So far, I have not gotten much luck. I did manage to get this particularly powerful artifact, Hydro damage bonus. It is probably the best one that I have so far, which is why it's very unfortunate that I have not gotten a single crit damage bonus on it. Nonetheless, it is still probably the best one that I have access to, so that's what we're working with. But yeah, this is just kind of like the only 2 pieces that I've considered saving. This one is insane. I'm hoping that this one ends up being good. I'm hoping this one rolls into a stat that's valuable, because it already has energy recharge and crit damage. If it rolls into something like crit rate, even attack percentage I'd probably take. But yeah, I've not gotten much luck with Emblem of Star Fates. We're gonna hope though. But for now, that's kind of enough to just show a little bit of everything. Oh, there's one more character that I want to show off a little bit. This is my Diona. She's probably been the most neglected character that I've had so far. She pretty much serves the purpose of the energy battery for this particular team that I'm running with right now. She has a Sacrificial Bow, rank 1, nothing too impressive. I do want to take a look at her artifacts though, because I think this is probably some of the funniest stats that I have seen for my Diona artifact so far. So, for starters, I managed to actually get a really good plume that I have not leveled up so far. My Diona is pretty much set entirely for HP. This is one that has both HP percentage, attack percentage, and flat HP. So this plume is probably going to be the best one that I can get for Diona. I'm hoping that a lot of the stats are actually going to be going into HP percentage. Let's start going to a bit of the crazy things. So, I rolled into this flower and then ended up getting a pretty decent amount of not only energy recharge but also crit damage. So it ended up being really good, even though it has defense as one of the stats that ended up being rolled into. The flower itself is still pretty powerful. I also ended up getting this, which was a dual stat, crit damage, crit rate, HP percent thing. So far, we've actually gotten a lot of crit percentage stats on this Diona. That does not stop. I also ended up rolling this one, which is also HP percentage, which also has crit rate, HP, and crit damage. They're only at level 8 so far. If I level them up properly and they end up getting a lot of crit, this Diona might actually be doing a lot of damage, even without that much investment into her. And this one is probably the craziest part. I went back hoping to get a HP percentage helmet for the Diona so that I could end up getting the millilith bonus. I ended up getting a crit rate. I ended up getting crit rate helmet, which actually has a pretty decent amount of crit damage and a lot of attack percentage. This is probably the weirdest Diona build that I've had so far, because despite not having any offensive status, she has a crazy amount of both crit rate and crit damage. This is just like the most awkward Diona that I've had so far, but she does damage. For whatever reason, she is actually able to do a lot of damage despite having mostly HP investment. It's just something that ended up being funny. Then we have Venti. I hate Venti, I'm not going to talk about him. But enough stalling for time. Let's go ahead and let's go into the event, shall we? Alright, so it looks like we have found the last part. It's going to be on the ruins. Alright, so over in this direction. Let's go ahead and teleport from that location. We're probably just going to be doing mostly a lot of the event. The team that I'm currently using, this is the exploration team that I've had for pretty much the entirety of Inazuma. I've switched Diona up for Fischl and Sword areas in order to complete a lot of the maps. But the purpose of this team is mostly just exploration. Venti's here because he can do this. If I'm being honest, I would much rather have Sucrose in a lot of scenarios. This particular team is probably the one where Venti is better, mainly because of the energy recharge, which Ayaka definitely does like. For the actual event, we're probably going to be doing at least one with this particular team, and then we're probably going to be switching to the team that I actually use for boss battles, which is going to be it's going to be quite the treat, because that team has seen quite a lot of changes, and I'm sure that a lot of people are going to really like what they see when we go into that one. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's just see what we have right here. Let me make sure that the stream is set up properly. Alright, looks like everything is good. Let's figure out what this is about. I've heard a couple things about the control disconnected. Oh no, that's not good. I have been having a lot of issues with my controller. I hope that's not going to become that big of a problem. It's usually not that big of a problem, but we'll see what ends up happening. I hear that this is actually a relatively difficult boss so far. I don't know what to expect. I'm able to kill the automaton relatively quickly, especially with my proper team. I'm not sure what I should be expecting from this. Let's see. Defeat the perpetual mechanical array to obtain precious thunder crystals. And it looks like we have pretty much everything from the event. I don't actually think this is going to be that hard. I might be completely wrong here, but this seems fairly basic. So far, doesn't look like it's going to be that hard. My Diona shield is actually surprisingly sturdy, with how little I've actually invested into it. So I don't think we're going to have that many issues. Oh, I messed that up. Nimbus gems have enabled. Okay, so this is the ones that just give you energy recharge, isn't it? That's actually going to end up being really, really, really helpful. Alright, so let's just go ahead and do a little bit of damage here. We're going to be using mostly just Ayaka. Let's see if we can get a Sumetsu. It looks like we can. The annoying thing about this one is that we can't actually freeze the mechanical array, so we are losing a little bit of damage. I probably should have waited on that. There we go. I don't think we're going to be able to kill this one just yet. I think one more Sumetsu should be more than enough. See, that skill does a lot of damage. That was relatively simple. I do know that we have to do this multiple times. I'm not super worried about it. That's been kind of just like a showcase of the things that I've been doing more or less in the entirety of Inazuma. I've just been switching between Diona in order to fuel the power of my Ayaka and just keep on moving around different things. And if I'm being honest, this team is surprisingly free-to-play friendly, which I know is weird considering that I have 2 5-stars. But if you really take a look at the components of this team, 2 of the characters were characters that I ended up getting for free. We ended up getting Diona for free, we ended up getting Xingqiu for free, and a lot of the weapons that they're using, they're not that expensive either. Like the Black Cliff sword is something that you can get relatively easily, and you might even be wanting to use the Amenoma instead of the Black Cliff in a lot of cases. So this team is honestly relatively achievable for most free-to-play players. I think Venti's probably the one that's out of the league for most people, but if I'm being honest, I think Venti's very, very replaceable. I don't think he's as core a component as a lot of people think. But yeah, we're actually not going to be using this team because that ended up taking a lot longer than what I want. This is the team that we're going to be bringing. This is my boss-killing team. And I know a lot of people are going to be happy about this one. This is a team that I have been working on for a very, very long time, which is the Mono Geo team. Not entirely completely mono, we do have an additional character in order to take advantage of Crystallize as a way of extra protection, as a way of triggering the Elemental Resonance easier. For us, that character is going to be Fischl. I expect this character to change to Ball once she is released. This is my boss-killing team. I have Beidou, Ningguang, Noelle as my main damage dealers, Beidou and Ningguang pretty much serving as burst spam whenever they are active, and Noelle having pretty much 100% uptime in sweeping time. Once I get my Noelle to C6, this team is going to be insane. I also managed to get the White Blind all the way up to rank 5. Noelle is hitting hard right now. If I manage to get my Noelle to C6, this is gonna be an insane team. One thing that I want to do really quickly though, I want to change that so that I get slightly more crit damage. I do want to show off the team a little bit just so you know what we're running with. There's pretty much a lot of the stats that you can see. Noelle is mostly centered around defense, a little bit of attack, and to take advantage of the rank 5 White Blind. We have our Fischl, which is just a regular Fischl, decent amount of crit, using the stringless with the Thundering Fury set, just for, I don't know, whatever purpose. It doesn't really do much apart from the electro damage. I am probably considering that it might be a good idea to switch to a 2-set something else. Maybe Gladiators? I'll figure that out at a later point. Fischl is still a character that I'm working on, and since I'm probably going to be replacing her with Ball at a later point, I'm not super worried about it. Last one, the next one we're going to be talking about is my Ningguang. This is my pride and joy of the account, apart from Ayaka. This is the one that I have been working on for literal months. She is very, very strong. This is what she's running with. I ended up having my only 5-star weapon on my Ningguang, which ended up being the Skyward Atlas. I'm really happy about this one. My Ningguang is just incredibly powerful. And the last one that we have on the team is Beidou. Beidou, while the stats might not look like much, it actually does end up being very, very effective. The energy recharge, the high amount of energy recharge that I have on this Beidou means that I pretty much never have my my burst not active. And I've calculated a lot of the things, and I don't actually have to feed him any energy orbs for him to get the burst at max level within the 12-second cooldown. Pretty much just the entire rotation will be enough to get him to where he needs to be, which is really good because the burst actually does a significant amount of damage with this particular build. He's of course running the Festering Desire because I do need that little bit of extra crit rate. So yeah, this is pretty much Beidou, and this is the team that I have been using for boss fights. It is very, very effective, and I expect it's going to be the team that's going to be carrying us through the entirety of this event. So now, let's just go into it and let's see what we do. But I kind of want to hear from people. How are people doing in pretty much just in Asuma so far? As I've said, I've been enjoying it really, really a lot. But I'm curious to see what everybody else has been dealing with pretty much. For me, since I got a Yaka, I'm part of the you have to collect Sakura Blossoms. Oh yeah, that is the good damage. I am really happy with this team. It is incredibly satisfying to just be able to have Noelle active pretty much 24/7. Ah, let me move. And Ningguang is no slouch either. She is doing a lot of damage. It does seem like I'm losing a little bit of energy regen because I've not been able to place my Beidou flower properly. Which is fine, it's not the worst thing. It does kind of suck that the mechanical ray is eating a lot of my Geo constructs, but that's not the end of the world. We're still getting the energy that we need, and we're still getting a lot of the damage, which is the important part. Ningguang is just insane. She's definitely one of the strongest characters that I have at the moment. That is no argument on that one. I kind of waste a little bit of energy there, but it's not the end of the world. It's pretty much just the rotation that I keep on doing. I keep on just slamming things with Noelle, and honestly, not caring about it. I should probably try to do a lot of this, shouldn't I? This is actually a pretty decent buff. That is something that could become a problem, though, because I don't know if you noticed, but the previous burst that I did, a lot of the gems actually went to the other two, which are immune. That's just something that we're gonna have to probably deal with, unfortunately. Not really much we can do on that front. But yeah, as you can see, the damage on this team is honestly really, really high. The combination of pretty much every single Geo character, as well as the spam of every single Geo character that I have access to, as well as the incredible burst spam that Ningguang has access to. This is crazy. I'm really happy with how this team ended up going. I think Ball is going to be a very good addition to this team. Even though she's probably not the perfect addition to the team, she's definitely one of the more consistent ones, at least with what we know of Ball so far. Definitely looking forward to her. That is for sure. Alright. I'm gonna roll down as much of this as possible, yep, because I knew that was gonna end up happening. Let's grab one of these. That is so much damage. Oh my god, I love Ning Wong. I mistimed that slightly, but it's not the end of the world. So much damage. And that should be game. Oh, you blocked it, really? That's unfortunate. I'm just gonna finish you, Willow Beidou. And yeah, that's that's another one down. I think, if I remember correctly, the math of how much we need in order to be able to do pretty much everything from the shop was like 11 of these, I believe, and that was the third one, I believe. This is honestly gonna take a lot less than what I thought it was gonna take. Alright, this one is the one that we have to kill, so let's just go ahead and move over in this direction. I did that too early. Oh, come on, stop eating my flower. There we go. Yeah, I think this is gonna be really easy. I am really, really happy with how this team ended. Geo for the win. Geo for the win. Definitely not regretting putting this much investment into all of these characters. I do think that, I know that the damage is not as crazy as what a lot of people can do with whale level accounts, but honestly, for a free-to-play player who has managed to get all of this, the sheer amount of survivability as well as simple efficiency of being able to get a lot of the resources for this particular team has been quite nice. Noelle has been doing a lot of work, and managing to get Ning Wong to C6 is probably one of the best achievements that I've done. I definitely do think that it was the right decision to put as much investment as I did into trying to get Ning Wong. It has definitely been paying off so far. Oh wow, that is very annoying. Just gonna revive her, it doesn't really matter too much. I am not a big fan of these little ones, mainly because they have a lot of very annoying techniques that I do not enjoy. It's not the end of the world, though. It's pretty much just going to be another mechanical array. I'm pretty sure that we need... what was it? Like 4,000 of the things in order to be able to get everything. We might actually have to do more than what I thought originally. Beautiful. I'm pretty sure that puts it at 1,800. Once we get to 3,300, I'm pretty sure that's like the magic number for what we want. We might have to do a couple more. I'm not super worried about it. This event does seem significantly easier than a lot of the other ones. Oh wow. It's already in the immunity phase. That's unfortunate. We pretty much wasted the entirety of the Ningguang ult, but that's gonna end up happening a lot with this particular boss, just because of how many hats there are. Thankfully, that is the exact reason why we have Noelle. Alright, there we go. Officials down, not anymore. Let's go. Am I gonna have enough to kill it? Not in that burst, but it's fine. We can just do this. Alright, that went pretty good. That went pretty good. I accidentally clicked on exit because that is my attack button as I was attacking. This event has definitely been a lot easier than I was expecting it to be, but I guess that's to be expected. We are looking incredibly powerful. We got enough for Beidou, so let's go ahead and let's get Beidou. This is pretty much the one thing that I really, really wanted about the event. It's not as impactful right now as other characters can be, because, well, I already have Beidou. I had my Beidou, but my Beidou's at C2, so now she's going to be at C3, which is not the most game-changing of constellations. The most game-changing by far is probably Stormbreaker and Bane of All Evil, but it's getting us closer to them. And if I can get Bane of Evil is actually going to be really, really good with a lot of characters that we're going to be getting in the future. Yoimiya, for example, which is one of the characters that I really wanted to talk about, and I'm probably going to go into more detail about Yoimiya next week. She's honestly looking to be incredibly good. Well, let me rephrase that. She's looking to be a very decent, generic Pyro DPS character. However, for free-to-play players, she is probably looking to be one of the better options for that category, mainly because a lot of her bonuses are already innate on the C0. You're not relying on constellations in order to get the massive numbers that a lot of different characters like Diluc, for example, are capable of getting. A lot of the weapons that Yoimiya can abuse are already in the free-to-play category, with things like the Protect Crescent as well as the new bow. She is honestly looking to be a very decent choice of a DPS character for people that don't have access to those, especially on the free-to-play spectrum. And because of a lot of the events that we've been getting so far, this one in particular, we're actually able to get a lot of very powerful supports that enable Yoimiya to be an active DPS character. And I know that a lot of people are going to be saying, how can you do that if she has a 18-second cooldown on her main buff? Well. That's something that we're going to have to talk about, because with a little bit of effort, you can actually make it so that Yoimiya can have her buff 100% of the time, which is something that I'm excited for. At least in theory. I still have to test if it works in practice. But from what I could see in the trial that we ended up getting for Yoimiya, her elemental burst goes in cooldown as soon as she uses it. And if that remains the case, which I believe it's going to remain the case, we might actually be able to use the Thundering Fury set on Yoimiya as a way of guaranteeing 100% uptime on her elemental skill. Which is definitely going to be quite nice if it is something we can enable. It probably would have been a lot more difficult before in Asuma, but now that we have things like the Electro Traveler, which will pair really, really well with Yoimiya in that regard, we might actually be able to apply enough Electro to the point where we can enable a 100% uptime Yoimiya with just a little bit of effort from our Electro friends. It's definitely one of the things that I'm going to be experimenting with the most. It seems to be the thing that shows the most promise at the moment. Otherwise, Joimiya, she's a very generic pyro DPS. She has a lot of similarities to Diluc in that regard. When it comes to the way that she does a lot of her damage. A lot of her damage is consistent and scattered throughout longer periods of time. She pairs really well with Xingqiu from what I can tell. And if the interaction with Thundering Fury works the way that I'm pretty sure is going to end up working, she might honestly be very, very good. I don't think she's going to get to levels of damage that characters like Kutao, Ganyu for that matter, are capable of accomplishing. She's not going to be bad by any means, which I'm happy for. I really like Yomi's design. I'm not a particularly big fan of her playstyle. She is pretty similar to physical DPS Fischl. But it does come with a lot of utility. Being able to attack at range is something that's very, very underrated. But it does come up a lot, especially in places like Abyss, where movement is very limited. I'm expecting Yumiya to be really good. I forgot which one we have been at. After we finish this one, we should probably go to the shop and see what we can buy, see what we're missing. I definitely want to try to get the crown. I've been using a lot of crowns as of late, and I expect to use a lot more on Ayaka. I definitely want to crown Ayaka in pretty much every single one of her abilities. I can probably get away with not crowning the normal attacks because ideally you're not going to be using them that much. But the normal attacks are actually very, very strong. And they do come up. So it might not be a bad idea to put the resource into it. Especially if we can afford it. Man, this thing is very, very tanky. Alright, there we go. We got the full combo going. This thing is very, very dead. Alright, let's go ahead and let's go to a shop and let's see all the things that we can gather. we might end up having a fairly short stream. I didn't think it was gonna be this this quick. I don't know, we might keep on going a little bit, explore a little bit of Inazuma while we're on the way. Alright, so we're at 2,000. Let's go ahead and let's buy the important things first. I'm gonna need Crown of Insight, that's for sure. And yeah, pretty please. The Philosophies of Elegance, that is the one for Yaka. So we definitely want to get all of that. Philosophies of Light, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the one for a character that I'm going to need in the future. It looks like we might only need to do one more. And we're probably going to be able to get everything already. That was relatively quickly, not gonna lie. I was hoping... I was thinking it was going to be taking a lot more. I guess there's not really much else to it. This boss is fairly simple with the team that I've brought. It's relatively hard to die unless you're not paying attention, like I was. I'm definitely very happy with the way this team has ended up looking. It's been a long time in the works, and just now, with Inazuma, I finally feel like the team is at the point where I can realistically do it. Use it. Oh. Oh well, that's a wasted all data ult. It doesn't really matter that much. Here you are. Oh, you had my flower. That does kind of suck. That flower is actually a very decent amount of my energy regen. I'm just gonna try to burst this one. There we go. I don't think I'm gonna be able to kill it on this particular phase, but it's fine. Once it goes into out of its immunity frame, we should be able to just smash it with Ningguang. There we go. And that's that. That was a lot easier than I was expecting, if I'm being honest. I think, unfortunately, that's just kind of how it ended up being. The event is definitely not one of those hard ones. The next hard event that we're probably going to be getting is likely going to be the next Abyss. We did end up getting a wish. Who knows, maybe we'll get lucky, let's see. Might as well use it. As you can see, I have been saving up a lot over a very long time. I am currently at 105 wishes. I am hoping that by the time that ball arrives, which is probably going to be in around a month or so, I'm going to be able to get even more. My objective is to be able to get at least a single ball. If I get any of the good 4 stars that might come with her banner, I'll be happy. But yeah, let's it's a free wish. Let's see what it is. Nothing of note. That's to be expected, in all honesty. But I'm pretty sure that that kind of just does everything for the event. That was definitely a lot easier than I was thinking it was going to be. But yeah, that pretty much buys everything in the shop. We finished this a lot quicker than I thought we were going to. Well, I guess I still technically could do it 2 more times, because if I go... wrong one. If I go into my characters, I am very, very close to leveling up Ayaka to max. That might end up being a really good way of ending the stream. So I think let's go ahead and do that. We will fight the mechanical array one more time, and we're gonna use that to max ascend our Ayaka. But yeah, so far it's been a really nice just joyride when it comes to Inazuma. I have been really enjoying it a lot. Alright, I'm just gonna attack with Noelle until I trigger its immunity phase, which should be pretty close. Yeah, maybe not. Ah, there it is. And there we go. That is the 12th perpetual array of the day. But we pretty much got what we wanted for this event. Anything good? That's decent. It's not the worst, not the best. We ended up getting what we needed. So, for the end of this stream, let's go ahead. Let's go over into our Ayaka. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Alright. With that out of the way, I think that's probably where I'm going to be ending the stream. We've pretty much accomplished everything that we wanted to. I think the next stream that I'm going to be hosting is likely going to be a discussion stream regarding Yoimiya. I'm probably going to be doing that in the next week, however. I'm going to be discussing Yoimiya and Sayu. I've already kind of said a little bit of what I'm hoping. I'm going to be doing a little bit more research when it comes to the way that Yoimiya's elemental skill works. And I'm going to be doing a bit of math on Sayu in particular to see how helpful she's going to be. The simple fact that she is a Nemo healer is likely going to make her a very beneficial character. One of the things that I'm also looking at is a DPS Sayu with Swirl, and have her work similar to the way that Sucrose works currently. I don't think that's going to be as meta as other things. I feel like a lot of her benefits are going to be coming from the fact that she is an Nemo character that can heal. So essentially she's going to be fulfilling a similar role to what Jean already does. But I do expect her to be played quite a bit. Yoimiya is looking to be a very, very powerful character for free-to-plays in particular. I don't think whales are going to be taking much advantage of Yoimiya. Her kit is not really designed to be broken in any way. It is very similar to Diluc in that matter. Well, we consider Diluc not be broken anymore. But that's kind of what you should expect when you take a look at Yoimiya. I think by far her most effective state is likely going to be in Overload compositions. If the Thundering Fury interaction does end up working the way that I think it's going to end up working, which it looks like it's going to be a case considering that her ability goes into cooldown immediately, it might end up being really good. It might end up being really, really good as just a very consistent Diluc that is at range. She's probably going to fit really well into hyper pyro compositions, basically using double electro to be able to trigger Thundering Fury constantly, and maybe having either a resistance shred or a Bennett in order to increase the power of pyro damage in general. Since Overload does pyro damage, a character that can benefit that will also be very helpful. I think the team that I'm currently looking at for Yoimiya to be one of the better ones is a Beidou Electro Traveler, Yoimiya, Sucrose composition. Since Sucrose can reduce a lot of the element for pyro, Overloaded does pyro, Yoimiya can trigger Overloaded every second, and Beidou already does a significant amount of damage. It's looking to be pretty powerful. With all of that being said though, I do think that this is pretty much going to be the end of the stream. If you enjoyed, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Portals out.